Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? This was scheduled to be a Photographs of Memory broadcast. I was going to do a segment on what keeps us young, how we keep people relevant in our lives and in our families' lives by sharing photographs, memories, little anecdotes. And then it came over the news feed about 3 minutes ago for me that Diane Keaton passed away. So, keeping in step with the original thought of doing photographs of memories. This is in memory of Diane Keaton because Diane Keaton not only was a wonderful activist and actress and was in a few of the more iconic movies of our generation. The Godfather, of course, is one of them. One, two, and three. She was just a force to be reckoned with as a bohemian type. You always thought you were back in the 60s if you looked at Diane Keaton, the way she dressed, the way she spoke. And she was tremendous. And she died today at the age of 79. Iconic roles, Annie Hall, Something's Got to Give. The Godfather, of course, was her first major role. Nothing can confirm her legacy, the legacy or her legendary status because it means something different to everyone. Like in any uh, discipline, karate can mean a lot to you if you study martial arts, and someone else could say, "Oh, what's the big deal?" Right? If you're an actor, no one can understand the passion you have unless they understand acting or what it is like to want to strive. But she rose to fame in the 70s. The Godfather got her there, and then collaborations with director Woody Allen, who was her boyfriend for many years. She won an Oscar for Annie Hall in 1977. I didn't even realize she won an Oscar, actually. First Wives Club, multiple collaborations with Nancy Myers, the book club franchise. She was born in LA as Diane Hall, oldest of four children. Her father was a civil engineer. Her mom stayed at home. And she always thought her mother dreamed of something bigger than just being a secret stay at home mom. A secret meaning it's my secret that I'm going to do this and be a stay at home mom, but I really know I should have been more. Um, she always wanted to be an entertainer, her mother, and she let that out later on. She played the piano, and that pretty much was Diane Keaton's advocate. Um, Diane Keaton was in high school plays. She graduated in 1964, pursued drama in college. She dropped out and moved to New York City to make her way in the theater. She took her mother's maiden name, Keaton, because there was already a Diane Hall registered in Actors Equity, SAG. In 68, she was casted as a Broadway understudy in Hair. Sheila, I think, was the character. She struggled with bulimia during her time after a director showed her that and told her that thinner women had more of a chance to make it in Hollywood. And because it's such an overabundant lifestyle in Hollywood, cocktail parties and all of that, she became bulimic. She became a master of hiding herself. And maybe that's why the dress, her garb took away from who she really was, although it did. It showed that she was bohemian in nature, but maybe she was hiding something. She recovered thanks to therapy, and she felt that bulimia robbed her ability to enjoy her time on Broadway. She was in Played Against Sam, which premiered in 1969. She received a Tony for that. So she was known before The Godfather. A couple of years out, she had done some stuff. A Lovers and Other Strangers in 1970. That was her film debut, and she was very good in it. But when Francis Ford Coppola casted her as Kay Adams, the white bread girlfriend of Al Pacino in The Godfather, it made her a name synonymous with Michael Corleone and with the biggest movie, one of them in the history of motion picture film. I think the kindest thing she said that anyone had ever done for her was get her cast in The Godfather, because she didn't even read the book. She didn't know a single thing about the character. Maybe that helped her. She was just going around auditioning. Very eclectic type of character she was. And when the film won the Best Picture at the Oscars, her stock had risen. She reprised the role in 74 to Godfather 2 and was in The Godfather 3 in 1990, the last of that franchise. She collaborated with Woody Allen, like I said, played against Sam, Sleepers, Love and Death. But she was always insecure, always spoke about that. She doesn't like the way she looked or the way she sounded. She said that many times. In 77, when she was in Annie Hall, she won the Oscar for Best Actress. And Annie's wardrobe mimicked Keaton's own. Menswear, vests, structured trousers, cemented an actress playing a style icon. And that's what she was. And many believe that that movie was based on their relationship. There are elements of truth in it, I think, but I don't think it's all that telling. In 1978, she collaborated with Allen again in Interiors. In 79, Manhattan. In 93, Manhattan Murder Mystery. She defended Allen in the wake of sexual abuse allegations in the mid-2000s. Looking for Mr. Goodbar with Richard Gere in 1977. Gere's step-out role and great role. Reds, Shoot the Moon, Little Drummer Girl. She's been in so many great movies, and you wouldn't think so, right? You remember her for The Godfather, maybe one of the chick flicks. She starred with Goldie Hawn and Bette Midler in 96, The First Wives Club. 3 women that husbands had left them for younger women. And it ended with all 3 singing Leslie Gore's You Don't Own Me, a real woman's moment. She was in The Family Stone, The Young Pope. She starred in a music video for Justin Bieber, Ghost. She did quite a bit. Many people don't know what they've learned until they're laying in bed. Let me turn this phone off. Many people don't know what they've learned until they're laying in bed, their last moments, when they really have to measure with the metaphorical measuring stick or tape of what life meant, what they've achieved, and what it was to be who you were. And I think that there are many times when you look at your life as a series of plays. I do. I certainly do. You know, I always look at my life as a series of, I always thought life was a 3-series act. I always thought maybe 10 years of age to 30, 30 to 60, and then 60 to when you take your last breath. And the acts, generally speaking, are like theater or Broadway acts. Your first go around from 10 to 35, maybe. You're developing who you are, right? At 5 years of age, who are you? At 10, you're starting to see the bratty personality. Every kid is a little bit narcissistic and doesn't want to share their toys. But you kind of develop into who you're going to be. So by the time you're in your teens, you kind of know what you're going to look like a bit. You can read the intelligence level. Are you like your parents? The vocations, do you follow all that? Um, you get married, and usually in your 30s, you're married, maybe a kid on the way, or a kid if you got married a bit younger. You may have bought your first house or in the midst of buying it. Um, so that act is really building. The second act is building for the last act. The last act being who you were at 65. Who you were, well, you could have been a father, one child, multiple children. If you're 60 and you got married around the timeline of most people, you probably have a son or daughter in their 20s or 30s. Thank you so much, Mitch. My goodness. And thank you, Al. Old horse racing all the time. That was so nice of you, Mitch. You've probably dealt with an illness, probably at 50. Ever-changing sands of time. How are you? Absolutely. I totally agree with you. She was. I'll tell you what I believe, Sands. I believe she showed that it was a lot of women can either look masculine or feminine. They can't pull off both. Diane Keaton was a master of wearing masculine clothes and making them look very feminine and stylish. Think about it. Sports blazers, funky 1968 tie-dye shirts. She could wear a shoulder-padded suit with a tie and not look masculine, look sexy as all hell. She always had this femininity about her that shone through everything. Yes, ever-changing. Absolutely. That's very, very well put. You put it better than I could. She made Plain Jane look very sexy. The librarian, remember the sexy librarian with glasses that you wouldn't think of anything? But guys down the road, I'll be that sexy librarian. Why? Because there's something very overstated about being understated. And I always got that out of her. And the funny thing with her, I never really liked her roles where she wasn't being a bit outlandish and a bit free-spirited. Because later on, Diane Keaton, who had said that Al Pacino was the most handsome man she ever met and was her true love, you totally expected at any given moment Al Pacino, if he were playing Othello, I saw him on Broadway playing in The Merchant of Venice, playing Shylock, and I played ball with him. And I had many talks with him, not about Diane Keaton. You expected Al at any time to go, hoo-ah, right? Well, Diane Keaton, she could be playing the Queen of England, and you would expect her to come out with something hippie-ish and outlandish, because that was the persona that she projected. But it was never a persona that was too much or too little. It was Diane Keaton. It's like when your friend, that's just Joey. That's so Joey. Like, right? It's like, it's neither good or bad. It's just your friend. Yes, Jesus freak. How you doing, man? Or woman? Thank you for coming in. Yeah, baby boom. Something's got to give. A wonderful, wonderful actress. And I always liked her in the roles where she was a bit hippie-ish. Like, if you look at Diane Keaton, totally LA. Like, if you walked in LA, what does an LA fairly liberal, Hollywood artsy woman look like? Diane Keaton's pictures there. What is the face that you would hate that is all the worst of LA? Jane Fonda's pictures there. But you know what I mean. I'm half joking. Jane Fonda's a wonderful actress. I don't go for her, really, but great actress. And I can't believe she's almost 90, Jane Fonda. I didn't realize that. But yeah, Jesus freak Jen, too young. And interestingly enough, I didn't have a lot of time to prepare for this because I told you with 3 or 4 minutes, I changed the thumbnail real quick and all that. But Photographs and Memories. And then I wrote In Memory of Diane Keaton because the show originally was titled Photographs and Memories. And we look at Photographs and Memories, and that's how we keep people that were close to us, close to us. My son was about 17 months old when my father passed away. My son is 30 now. My father's been gone many years now, almost 30. If you ask my son, he swears he remembers my father. How? How's that possible? It's not. But I have told him so many stories, showed him so many pictures of my dad with him when he was a small little baby, holding him and all, that he almost, I think I remember that. No, he doesn't. But the power of suggestion is an amazing thing. New England look, really? Could be. Yeah. I Sausalito, Nantucket, right? That kind of look, artsy, and she was just a wonderful actress. And the thing with Diane Keaton, it's kind of like you joke around and you say, who's the African American actor that was in everything? Well, originally it was Samuel Jackson, and then it became Morgan Freeman. Diane Keaton, any woman's advocate movie that you could think of, if you want to think of someone that could play a woman's liber, Diane Keaton. Someone that could play anti-establishment, Diane Keaton. Someone who could play a conservative, probably not Diane Keaton, but she was that much of a craftswoman that she could do it. But wonderful actress. In The Godfather, I think one of her iconic scenes, see if I can pull it up for you. Well, in The Godfather 3, and the interesting thing, when they were filming Godfather 3, they had broken up, Pacino and her, and they had to film that while they were breaking up. They always had very good chemistry. And it was hard. The Godfather character, how could Michael Corleone have chemistry with anybody? Right? It's not that kind of role. But I will show you this. And I always thought this was a great part of this movie.
I spent my life protecting my son. I spent my life protecting my family.
Let's be reasonable, okay? That's your big thing, isn't it, Michael? Reason backed up by murder.
Now watch this acting when she says Anthony, his son, knows you killed Fredo. He can't even look at her. Watch him look away.
You hate me.
Watch.
You hate me.
No, I don't hate you. I dread you.
Great line. Watch this. How he looks away.
I did what I could, Kay, to protect all of you from the horrors of this world.
But you became my horror.
It's a little too theatrical. Oh, he doesn't say it. Right.
Children still love you, though. Especially Mary.
That's something.
Great scene. It wasn't the scene I wanted, but she always looked very kooky. Yeah, she always looked unshoveled, a disheveled mess, but gave disheveled mess look sexy, right? Yeah, so she's gone. I mean, she's 79. I didn't realize she was 79, but rest in peace, Diane Keaton. You brought a lot of joy to moviegoers. And the interesting thing is, she was the type of actress that if you went, I'll give you a perfect example. A brilliant actress who you may know, but if you saw Many Saints in Newark, the woman that played the actress that played the young Livia, Vera Farmiga, brilliant actress. And she was the type of character actress, never quite a leading lady, but you have to remember Hollywood, up until fairly recent, men were leading actors that could carry a movie, not women. Now you had Meryl Streep. Back a little further, maybe you had Sally Field, but generally speaking, you had to be teamed with a strong male actor, or you had to have a couple of renowned actresses with you, like the First Book Club or whatever, where you're drawing in fans from those actresses. She was always the actress where you could go to the movie, see the leading man, and say, wow, she was really good. You might not even know her name in the beginning, but the one that played his wife, what's her name? Right? Like Familia in Many Saints of Newark, the woman who played the young Livia, did a brilliant job. There are women actresses, I believe, much more than male actors that accentuate. There's something in pharmaceutical. There are drugs that are called adjutants, where you take a medication and they give you an adjutant drug to take along with it that brings out the effects of the first drug, makes it a little stronger, more pronounced. That's what I think Diane Keaton used to do. I think when you played off Diane Keaton, your acting chops became crystal clear, because when you're acting with someone who is an atypical personality in the acting business, you really have to step your game up. It's almost like pronunciation in Shakespeare, enunciation on Broadway. You have to enunciate very well on Broadway because people aren't going to rewind. They have to hear what you're saying. That's why the old time actors and actresses seemed so stiff, because they were from Broadway and they were so used to being so demonstratively correct with speech where everyone could hear it, they almost looked mechanical. But Diane Keaton, rest in peace. Good vibes out to her family. She'll be missed. A legend of Hollywood. Goes on to a better place, hopefully, right? Jesus freak, Jen? And God bless her. So Photographs and memories. Yeah, so my son believes he remembers my father. It's up to us to keep that tree nourished, the family tree, right? The family tree, even though, yes, she did make it look natural, the family tree, although a picture, when you see it, what does a tree need? Water. So, an analogy is that a family tree, even though it's a picture and it's terminology for the generations or decades that go by and the family members that are attached to that tree, a tree needs water. Sometimes when you don't water that tree, leaves fall, and the leaves would be the people on that tree. So, to ensure that they don't get lost in the brush and swept away by the sanitation brushes, you keep watering that tree. How do you water the tree? Talking, telling the old stories, showing some pictures. Always comes up at Thanksgiving. My mom and dad have been gone a long time now. My sisters are gone. A funny story. A funny story. My father used to love the skin on a turkey. Ate terribly, and that's probably why he passed at 59. But when I had first gotten married, I had married a woman that's family was very health conscious, you know, all of that. First year of marriage, my parents came to my house for Thanksgiving. When my father was ready for the skin, it was all in the garbage. And that was his favorite part of Thanksgiving. That story inevitably comes up every Thanksgiving. Even not being with the wife anymore, you would speak about it because it's your father. She is the extra in the scene, right? The wife is the extra. She just cooked the turkey, threw out the skin, but then she's the extra. This is about my dad. And that happens. And very rarely at 25 did someone notice me saying something or maybe an expression and say, oh my God, you remind me of your father when you do that. They don't do that when you're 25, right? When I was 50, 55, someone would say it who knew my father. Wow, you remind me of your father. Did you ever hear, wow, you're getting to look more and more like your father as you get older? You ever hear that? I've heard that. I hope it's a compliment. But you know what I mean? That's a way of keeping the family tree watered by speaking about it. Now, my friend Fred, who comes on here, great musician, bandmate, all that, wrote together. We have a friend, a mutual friend, that he was closer to. Yes, Jen, I got to call you Jen. I keep on calling you Jesus freak. I feel like it's a dismergement. Jen, yes, I love turkey skin too. I do. I know it's not good for you. You know how you know it's not good for you? Someone close to me is on Weight Watchers. And chicken wings are like, I think you get, if you're a woman, 23, 25, I don't know, points for Weight Watchers a day. Chicken wings are like 4 or 5 points a wing because of the skin. So I guess that's how bad it is for you. But yeah, I try to keep the memories going. I do. I'm probably not as ambitious as I should be. You know, I always thought that, well, I'll give you guys a story. You know, this is one channel, and Jen, thank you for coming in, where I don't bullshit you guys. If it doesn't make me look good, so be it. I'm too old to bullshit you. I don't do this channel for money. I don't make money on this channel. I don't have that type of following. I have friends that come in here, and you all become my friend. I at times, well, let me just get back to the friend, Fred's friend. He was close to him. He was partners with him. I knew him. Well, he's struggling with cancer. And on Facebook, I had saw the beginning of a passage written by a family member that I thought he passed. But they were just saying how it's going to be hard when you leave me. And I know these are the last days and I'm going to enjoy them. Right. You see that. You don't necessarily have to be close to the person. I haven't seen the person in years. We were never best friends, but we were friendly when I used to hang out. He owned the bar. Part of you goes away when memories die. You see, memories are very strong when the people that were involved in the memories are still alive. To me, they really become memories when the people that were involved in the memories die. And hopefully, you're not one of the members that die, because then you're not going to remember anything unless you can remember up there. I just think that it's imperative for our own sanity not to reiterate terrible memories, but look, bad memories help you as well. If you were someone who left your car open because you were just running to the deli and you came out to see the car gone. Well, how can you see a car gone? You know what I mean? It was gone. You won't leave the car maybe running again. If you walk down the street in a rough neighborhood and you have to go to the bank and you get mugged, maybe you'll get money before you go out. So those memories come in very handy. They could save, hurricane, right? People now, after Sandy, kind of take a little more precaution. And yes, by the way, if you're in the Northeast, be safe tomorrow. It's supposed to be a terrible storm tomorrow into Monday. Be safe. But, I look at it, and I always haven't been the best of friends with people I should have been. But I'm going to tell you a story because, like I said, I'm honest on here. My father was dating this, well, he dated a lot of girls, but he was dating this girl. She was Jewish. The father didn't approve. So the girl, my father was about 18, had to break up with him. He ran into the Green Berets, which was noble. And when he came back, he went to her house and found out she had died of a brain tumor, like 3 years later. And the father greeted my father and said, "I'm very sorry. She loved you, and I should have not stood in the way." Now, my father always held that dear to him. But my father dated a girl a couple of years before my mother. I was on Ancestry and found someone with a DNA match that seemed too close for comfort. A guy who's about 4 years older than me, which would be around that time that my father would have been dating somebody. They were in Kentucky. Gets better. My father's best friend was a guy, Sam. I knew his son, Billy. In fact, we used to go for coffee and stuff with Billy. Billy told me the story about my father dating this girl. She got pregnant, ran to Kentucky. I didn't tell him about the ancestry and said, I think you have a brother. I was floored because how could he? Now, his father told him this story because my father was hanging out with his father and a bunch of people. They were in the crowd, so they knew the story. I guess Sam told Billy this, but it came out. I was going to contact this person. Now, my father and mother fought a lot. I was surprised that something like that wouldn't come out. Right? So I'm guessing my mother never knew. I wanted to contact this person and say, hey, you came up on Ancestry, because you can message them through Ancestry. Oh, we must be related somehow. I thought better of it. Was it my ego of wanting to be the only son? I don't know. At this point, no. Because my father didn't know my mom at the time, if this is in fact true. I think it is, but I never went past the holy shit stage. I wanted to, but I felt he's in Kentucky. If he hopefully still alive, he's probably about 68. What is going to come of this? Am I going to become best friends and go to his 70th birthday party? Nothing good is going to come of this. Now, if he contacted me and asked me, hey, I might do it. It's kind of like when John Lennon was asked about the Beatles going back together. I'm not looking to pull it all together. If someone puts it together, yeah, man, I'm not going to be the one to put it together. Well, that's me. I'm not going to be the one to open up a family to a lot of talk. If they came to me wanting answers to satisfy themselves, I would help them. But I don't have to answer my own. So I'm being a bit altruistic. I am like that in certain situations where, I don't want you to struggle. I'll help you resolve what you need to resolve in your life. For now, I'm good. I don't need the answers. Even to the point of taking a DNA test, you hang out with the results and God bless you. I don't need to know. This is what happens when you get older. It's not all cotton candy. Things come up that can be very, very threatening to the normalcy of a family. You could cause a lot of havoc. I just wasn't willing to do it. Did I think about it? For a minute, I did. And I haven't spoken about it. This is about 3 years ago. And, I'm speaking to you guys now about it because photographs and memories. We all do what we can do to survive, people. Good, bad, or indifferent. We do what we can. Most people in the morning don't get up and say, who am I going to hurt today? I would like to think, thank you, Jesus. Jesus. See, I got Jesus in here today. Thank you, Jen. I don't want to be the one to open up, because a lot of questions come from that one situation. It's not just, oh, cool, I got a brother. When's your birthday? I'll send you a card. It gets a little deeper than that. And I'm not willing to get involved. Now, like I said, if the gentleman contacted me, I really want the answer, but sure, I'd be on board with that. But I'm not going to pull it together. I'm John Lennon in this situation. Also, someone asked me yesterday, actually didn't ask me, kind of instructed me. I look at things differently than the average person. Don't know why. But I really, at this age, lay there staring at the ceiling fan like it's a prop on a Broadway set. And I wonder, like, I've lived a full life. I have. I've, like the movie says, the song says, you loved, you lost. Is it better to love than not have loved at all and feel pain? Well, tell that to a 70-year-old that's crying, saving up his piggy bank to buy rope at Home Depot. It's not funny, but you get what I'm saying. Memories, they pale in comparison to what really happened, because we revisit history. We do. We reinvent. We're revisionists. Really, I believe we are revisionists, where we tweak things so we can remember them and not have to go through the pain again. You know what I mean? And for some reason, when we're older, things that were never resolved in our minds, we feel we need to resolve before we die. I'm not saying laying here at 64, I'm doing it because I only got 48 hours. You don't know. But you know that, you're in the eighth inning now. You're not in the bottom of the first when you're 64 years of age. I like when people say, you're mid-age. Yeah, I'm going to live to 128. So you want to resolve things, because sometimes when you resolve something, you resolve many other things as well. Because while you're resolving that, perfect example, you're in the basement, you're looking for your old Ranger jersey because you're going to a special Ranger alumni. And while you're looking for that, you find something that you were looking for 3 years ago and say, oh my God, I can't believe I still have that shirt. So you've found 2 or 3 other things that were even better than the thing you were looking for. That's what happens when we try to resolve. We go through the machinations of the process of resolving it. And on the road, you're stopping for gas, you're buying fresh corn, you're doing other things on the road to resolving that one thing. And many times, stuff that you resolve on the way was much more important than actually the thing you were going to resolve. That becomes third on the list. And that's why I think we try to do this as we get older. I think we want clarity for a reason, because we know that we've made mistakes. We know that we bullshitted ourselves many years into thinking that wasn't our fault, that wasn't our fault, that wasn't our fault. And maybe you could never say sorry to the person that it was your fault with, but if you own it and never get to say that I'm sorry, but you say to yourself, I was wrong. Sometimes that's enough, where we look within and see the things we did that were wrong, and we correct them just by facing them. Admitting a wrong is not always full retribution, but it's a good start. And I think that that's what we do when we're older. We go back to memories to see if we really understood what it was that made that memory. Think about it. You have a memory of, I'll give you an example. There was a story, I think it was used in a movie, where a guy and his father guy's a stuffy businessman. And the kid and the son don't see eye to eye. The kid and the father don't see eye to eye. The kid's in his 20s now. And the kid always remembered that he fell off a bike that the father bought him as a birthday gift and broke his leg. And the father came running and then turned away, and almost like it is humility, I think. Turned away, and the son always remembered that as you didn't care, you turned away. The father, much later in life, said, "No, I turned away because I didn't want you to see me terrified, crying. That would scare you." I don't know if the relationship ever got better after that, but the kid understood. And the father probably never would have believed that this son, all these years, used that as a barometer for my father not caring. Oh, that's why we don't get along. He don't like me. We never know what the thing is that we said to someone that tipped the scale to make them think, wow. Like I tell you, people, I do life and health coaching. Um, a couple of the students, it's amazing. Life and health. No one cares about the health. They all want to know when their ex-boyfriend's going to come back. Not what should I eat. And when a girl breaks up with you at 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon, she broke up with you 3 months ago. You just weren't seeing the signs. Absolutely, sans and can I tell you something? The simplest thing generally is misinterpreted. Generally, those are the things. You've heard it all your life, the little things, right? Major things aren't misinterpreted. If there's a war, right? If there's a war going on, some shit must have really happened for the war to start. But if there was peace negotiations and someone said something really off color that me and you might not think is bad, and then they said, screw it, we're going to war, the opposite side, we wouldn't know what caused it. It was that one very vanilla statement that someone took as gospel. That's why when people are dating, I don't believe in texting. I think texting is very jank. First of all, you try to be cool when you're texting. It's not cool. Your sense of humor is not coming through when you text. Sometimes our strength is through humility. But if you text something, you're not going to see the human element where if I say it to you, right? So I always believe that if you're trying to build a relationship with someone, your communication shouldn't be by text in the beginning. Know my personality, and I guarantee you, where I would have said something funny that you didn't laugh at via text, in 3 months, you'll laugh because you'll know exactly what I meant, because you've spoken to me enough to know that that's the way I talk when I mean this. It's kind of like, give you a perfect example. If someone says to a guy or a girl that look disgusting in this suit or dress, yeah, they look good in that. If I text that, you might think, well, he thinks they look good in that. If I say, yeah, they look good in that, that means they don't. You have to be there to hear me say it. Now, 6 months from then, after I've said that in front of you, if I say, yeah, she looked good in that, You know that I'm knocking it, but you wouldn't have known if you never met me and heard me say it. Jen, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Be safe tomorrow. I don't know where you are. Hey, Terry, be safe because it's supposed to be rough weather. And thank you for coming in. I hope you come in again. And God bless you, Jesus, Jen. Hey, DJ. Yeah, you have to be able to read the room before you can read the book, right? And that's what happens in life, in dating. We think that everything is just a given. They met me, I said hello, they know my voice, they know what I mean. No, they don't. People spend a lifetime trying to get up the courage to ask someone out, and people take a lifetime to understand what someone's about. I guarantee you there are people that still don't know what the hell I'm about, and they know me 40 years. And I'm not playing a game. I'm not saying I'll wake up today and do this so they don't figure me out. No, it's just me. It's my personality, for good or bad. It's just me. The thing about being you is if you're you, you never have to remember anything else. I always say this. Robert De Niro, I can't stand his politics, but great actor. Al Pacino, who I played ball with, I was blessed. And I'll tell you a story. When I was talking to Al, we mentioned Broadway. That's his first love, Broadway. And he had told me when I do a role, a character, and the show is over, I'll look in the mirror and say, it was wonderful being you, but I have to leave you now. That's how he releases the character actor, his way of preparing and all of that method acting. Well, I don't care what actor you bring in here. They could sit here. They might be better looking than me, more versed, more money, but they can't be a better Vinnie Bracco than Vinnie Bracco. They can't. Might come close, but they can't. Because I'm me. So why would I want to be anybody else? Honestly. My parents didn't put me on this earth for me to act like you. Because they could have saved all the money they had to spend raising me. Or just been friends with your parents so they knew you. I'm going to be me. If it's not good enough for some people, I'm sorry. I hope I don't offend people. And if I do, I apologize because I don't want to offend anybody on purpose. But I'm me. Because that's the best person I know. Not the best person in terms of being the best person, but the best rendition of me is played by me. Now, someone had mentioned to me that when I do the music shorts, I should say what inspired me, why this song is important. And instead, I put out a blanket short on why I do it. Because I don't have enough time to do that after every song or before every song. The reason why I started the musical shorts was because, being bipolar, music gets me through tough days. And how many times have you heard a song on the radio that you used to play ad nauseum, but you forgot about it? And it's, oh my God, I love that song. You start playing it again. Well, that happens a lot with Apple Music. A song will come on and I'll say, oh my God, I used to play this out for 2 days, 3 years ago. And then you start playing it again. Well, that's what I try to do. I try to put up a song for you to start your day with something that you may not have heard in a long time that will bring you back to maybe a good time or a bad time. If I bring you back to a good time, all the power to you. If I bring you back to a bad time, maybe you can work it out. And maybe you'll feel better tomorrow because you finally faced that bad time and kind of resolved it. And that's why I do that. Thank you, DJ. I enjoy music, and I want other people to enjoy it too. The funniest thing today, I I was on YouTube. What a shock, right? Down on the big screen downstairs, and I came across Beetle auction stuff that people had, and they brought it to auction. Couldn't believe how much it was worth. And my son's laying on the couch, and he's on his phone, and I'm telling him, "Vin, look at that! Oh my god, I can't believe it! Look at that! I can't believe." It. And he'll once in a while, because I'll look once in a while, I'll look once in a while. I won't. I remember when my father used to do that to me, and I had no interest, and I'd have to, God, what is this over? Make believe. The hardest thing is making believe you're interested in something. And I remember, boy, my father must have had that feeling that I had today. Like the new generation could give a shit less about the autographed Beetle lunchbox. I care about it. And opening his eyes to it would make me feel good. Now, sometimes he's on board, but you can't expect a 30-year-old to love what a 64-year-old loves. First of all, it's probably not normal. It's like me. I can't wait to go out and play jacks. There's something wrong with that. There'd probably be something wrong with it if I were an 8-year-old boy and wanted to play jacks, but you know what I mean. But photographs and memories. There are times when I just think I'm on the wrong planet. Really. And I can't fly off it. So what's the best thing I could do? Right? Just roll with the punches. Photographs and memories, Christmas cards you sent to me. All that I have are these to remember you. Memories that come at night, take me to another time, back to a happier day when I called you mine. But we sure had a good time when we started way back when. Morning walks and bedroom talks. Oh, how I loved you then. Summer skies and lullabies, nights we couldn't say goodbye, and all of the things that we knew, not a dream survived. Photographs and memories, all the love you gave to me, somehow it just can't be true. It's all I left of you. But we sure had a good time when we started way back then. When? Morning walks and bedroom talks, and oh, how I loved you then. Jim Croce song, lyrics. And it really is apropos. And DJ Reed, I will tell you exactly how I feel. There is a Twilight Zone episode where a space flight lands on a planet. It looks like an inhabited planet. People are all standing around, but they're like dummies. They don't move. They look real, but they don't talk. They don't move. They find one old man that talks. He's the caretaker, and this is like the museum to the stars for all the galaxies, people from other planets. He poisons them, and he's dusting off an exhibit that says spacemen or whatever. And they're mannequins like the others are. That I feel sometimes like in the middle of the night, I was taken to another planet, and they constructed a neighborhood up there that looks just like mine, that I would feel I'm on Earth. But I tell you, I think I'd feel more on Earth there than I do now. Because this country I don't recognize. And it's not all, you want to call it, I don't know, liberalism or wokeism, socialism. It's not about that. It's about I got old real fast. I mean, It seems like overnight I got crabby. Overnight, I just have no patience for anything. Maybe that's what happens when you get older. Maybe that's what happens when you get older and you're dealing with a country that what it's going through. Like every day you put the news on and it's a bad story, right? I I have to tell you, I've never lived in a time where people are so disrespectful and hate the president. Uh, it's mind-boggling how disrespectful people are. I mean, calling the guy Nazi, it's a little too much. It's scary. And I don't know what the answer is, but I don't think it's ever going to change. I think we are who we are, and I don't think it's ever going to change. And it would be nice if we could even have the illusion that it would. It'd give us something to strive for. Maybe tomorrow will be a better day. Somehow, I don't think it's going to be a better day. And look, we're alive. That is the most wonderful thing in the world, right? I'll be right there. Just it's not going to change. I'm not saying it's going to get worse, but we're going to get worse. Sure, Gerald, how you doing, man? I hope you're doing well. Absolutely, Gerald. What do you got? Um, well, do you think it'll really upset her? Um, I don't see any reason to say it, especially if the health issues, if it would depress her, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. It's not worth it. Maybe she'll see it on her. Does she watch television? Yeah, I, I don't think I would. If you're not going to have a discussion about it, and she's not feeling all that well, why give her another death to say, another one gone? Not worth it. Your decision, but I wouldn't. Just that you're asking me means that you think it's not a good idea, or you wouldn't ask me. So go with your first thought because you're probably right. weigh the benefits. What good is going to happen out of her knowing that? Nothing really. Down the road, if you were watching a movie and she was in it with her, you could say, well, it's a shame she passed. Or she might ask you, oh, is she in anything? I haven't seen her in anything. You say, Ma, she passed a little bit ago. You could do that. Yeah, I'm not a big proponent of depressing older people more than they're depressed about being old. Because I feel old sometimes. And I certainly wouldn't. I wouldn't. Let her enjoy a day without having to feel sorrow about something. Because you got to remember, if she really liked her, that's just confirmation that your mother's getting older. When someone that was either her age group or younger or older passes, it's like, wow, if they could pass it, I'm 3 years younger. You don't want that. So, everyone, thank you so much for coming in. Rest in peace, Diane Keaton. And I hope you learned something here. I know I did. I learned that I love you guys as much as I ever did or do. And I'm glad that you're part of my friend base here. Okay. I'll see you guys soon. Have a good one.